Okay, so so if you are able to join my live stream today, I'm happy that you are joining to um
This is you, and this is your lingering hunch. Go Browns! Browns! But with FanDuel, you can place the same game parlay when you're ready, so your hunch won't linger much longer. FanDuel, North America's #1 sportsbook. There goes my heartbeat. You are the reason losing my sleep. Please come. Holds my mind erased. You are the reason that I'm still breathing. I'm hopeless. I'm ocean, just to be with you and fix what I've broken.
okay, so if you are able to join me live today, promise to share some information that can help you if you are starting a grad school application, or you have the dream of pursuing graduate studies in the USA. This is for those who are willing to make a move to work by themselves with instruction, with guidelines, and then be able to change their situation. Winning a scholarship entails a lot. It comes with hard work, and until you put yourself in to work hard, you will not be able to see what you are doing. Unlike any other program that maybe you apply and you pay for your own school fees, to getting a scholarship, that one takes a lot of time. And it's very advantage to you that you start as early as possible so you know what you need and then you work towards it. So today's video session, I'm going to introduce you into graduate studies application, what you need to put together in order to start your application, and what are some of the things that can help you or position you to win one of this one of the scholarship, get admission, get your study permit or F1 visa, and be able to travel abroad for your studies. So if you are joining me today, it is because you have made a decision that you want to study abroad. That is why you are taking this bold step to join me in live session today. I'm here. My name is Evans Boadi, and this link is Evans Boadi Network. If you are not on it, try to join it later. I'll share this link with people who can benefit from this important um, important information in order to get to win scholarship. And this is also very important for those who are in the undergraduate studies. Why? Because if you know what is ahead of you, your journey right now as undergraduate student in your respective school, you'll be able to plan ahead So by the time you get to your final year, you already have plans and you know where you are going. So uh, if you have a sister, brother, a friend who is in the first degree program, this is a good time to share with them so that they know ahead of them. There are many of us, including myself, that we didn't know that we will be able to. There are opportunities like this outside. That when you finish your studies, your first degree, you'll be able to study abroad, or you'll be able. There's something called scholarship that you'll be able to get, apply for one, and win in order to get to study abroad. You didn't know until you make your own path, and you spend all your undergraduate studies, and then if you did not position yourself well, that is, you did not perform academically well, then people are applying for scholarship. You are restricted because of your academic background, because you did not make a conscious effort to study and get good grades in order to get to that position. I'll give you a typical example. In my year group, there are some students who knew that if you are able to perform well, you get first class, it's easy to get a scholarship to study in USA or in USA. So just from the start, they know how to start well. They started well and they ended up well. And they ended up with their dream school abroad. Some who didn't know, they did not know that they have to start. They didn't know that they have to start well, prepare for it. So you finish school, then you realize that, oh, this is what you are supposed to do. But now it's already, if you were not in a good position, you're already late. And that becomes your situation. I don't want to be in that situation today. So start as early as possible. And then from the onset, you'll be able to start off well and join and be able to succeed well as well. So let me share the link with people who are waiting to get to join. Here we go. Waiting to get. To get a link. Okay, so if you are now joining in, I started earlier by giving some information, and I want to say that uh, maybe you think this is not for you, but maybe you think this is not for you, but you may know a family member or somebody, a friend, whom can benefit from one of these information that I'm here to give. So I wanted to wait a bit so that I give introduction about who I am and what I'm here for. So please share the link to somebody that this will be beneficial to, especially those in their undergraduate studies, because I mentioned earlier that if you know what is ahead of you, you are able to plan your life well. So by the time you graduate, nobody is going to tell you to apply to study abroad. You already know, and that information you already have has prepared you to perform well academically. You know what you need in order to get to your destination. So take advantage of this and share it with your little ones. If you're a teacher, share with your student. Let them know so they can prepare ahead. My name is Evans Boadi. I'm a PhD candidate at State University of New York in USA. And then also I'm a vice president for the mathematics graduate student because my PhD is in mathematics, and I have also been elected as an ambassador for graduate students. So if you are looking to study at State University of New York at Buffalo, may be one of the people you can contact for information about their programs and how you can succeed in your application. And Also, I finished my master's degree at Brock University in Canada. So I have studied in Canada before coming to United States. And over there, I also was an ambassador as I'm holding the same position right now. And I believe that both countries, which is now most South four countries, I have study experience in both countries. So I may be able to assist anybody who, to the best of my knowledge and my experience, to share with anybody who also want to study in these two countries. So um, if you are joining me today, I know that you also have passion, or you know somebody who wanted to study abroad, you want to help them also get the opportunity. So for today, this is the first of the series, and I'm going to introduce about some of the things that goes into an application and how you can do that. So when we go to September, October, it's actually the beginning of application period for most schools in Canada and USA. And especially in Canada, this is the time that you need to be starting an application. And then, in order to get a scholarship, you must be able to meet their first deadline. Most of the schools set a deadline for those who want a scholarship, and then they set a second deadline. That is, if you are not interested in scholarship, you just want, you have your own scholarship from somewhere you want to study, you can just apply at any time. So I believe that getting your, if you have your own scholarship, that's good. But if you don't have scholarship from your home country and you are coming to study, sponsoring yourself, that's a very challenging thing. So the best thing to position yourself is to get scholarship. One of the advantages of getting a scholarship is that you need to apply for F1 visa if you are going to United States, or um, study permit if you are coming to Canada. That's, with a scholarship, you have higher chance of getting your visa approved. If you don't have scholarship, it's going to be a more difficult one. So first of all, I'll start off by giving information about, once you have planned, you have decided to study abroad, where should you go? Where should you go? Should I go to Canada? Should I go to UK? Should I go to United States? Should I go where? Norway or any other countries? There are very much opportunities abroad. It depends on you and where you are deciding, where you are going and your plans. One thing that I always say is that sometimes getting the scholarship to study is not the end of it. After you study, what life, what's the next step? These are some of the things you will look at before you make decision. If you get the scholarship to study in certain countries, at the end of your study, they may ask you to go back to your home country. Some of them, they will ask you to stay. Some of them, there are opportunities for you to stay. Today, I'm very happy. One of the things is that I came to Canada for my master's degree, even though after that I left. I'm a permanent resident, and very soon I also become a citizen of the country. So these are some of the opportunities that are knocking, that are behind. You don't know until you get there. And when I was coming to Canada, I didn't know, it was one friend who was telling me, pushing me to study abroad. Oh, there's opportunity, and I was afraid that, oh, I don't have. They say, I heard that they, before you study abroad, you need some bank statement and other things. I don't have. How am I going to get it? So it's not for me. But the guy keep pushing, and you know what? When I got visa, when I got my admission to study, my first attempt, I didn't get it. The second attempt, that's where I broke through. And that time, I didn't need uh, what they call a proof of finance. I didn't need a bank statement. And when I got a scholarship admission, I told the professor that I don't have money to pay for, what do you call it, to pay for um, immigration is asking me to meet a certain requirement financially, and I don't have it. So I told the professor, and if I don't have it, I cannot come. I told him directly, and he also asked me if that he can help. So by the time I realized, he came back with more information, and more scholarship to help me meet the immigration requirement, and I did not need to even attach a single bank statement to my application. Okay, so sometimes the things that you are afraid to be your constraint, at the end, you get the right information, and that will be the easy one to cross. Okay, and I got my visa approved. Today, I finished my master's degree, and I have the opportunity to go somewhere else that I want to go. So some of the things that you need, that will be important is after your studies, what next? What is next? And you consider these things when you are choosing to study abroad. So today, which is the first introduction, I want to talk about some of the scholarship that are offered in United States and Canada. So first, Canadian scholarships. Please, I'm speaking. If you have any questions, you are wondering about something, please make sure that you type it, and I'll be able to answer your questions whilst I speak. They are the most important thing. Before, I've already been sharing information on LinkedIn about how to um, uh, some of the schools in Canada that you can apply for and how their scholarship you can access their scholarships. So if you follow me on LinkedIn, that is it. You have or check my profile to see some of the schools which I have posted. And if you are joining me, please make sure that you subscribe this to this YouTube channel and share with people who this can be benefit. Share too, so that they can also benefit from the information. If you are going to study abroad, Canadian scholarships comes automatic unless you choose a program that unless you choose a program that is professional. So in Canadian programs, they have professional programs. Professional programs comes as a program. If you were back home in Ghana, you see that you attend business school. Business school are considered as professional program. There are programs that does not involve research. So most Canadian schools don't give funding or scholarship to students who are in that such programs. They only sponsor students who are doing research. That means at the end of your study, you write a project. You write a project, or you write a thesis, or you do something in research. That's how they can finance you. If that is not the case, the government of Canada does not sponsor professional programs, course-based programs. There are some exceptions. There are some schools that do, especially University of Toronto. Some of their programs they will be able to finance you even if you are doing a professional program. But even in such situations, you have a minimum scholarship. The lowest one they can give you. That's those who are doing research will have much more than that. So our scholarships in Canada are that you don't need to apply separately. Most of the scholarships they come as a package. Some are involving how do you call it? Teaching assistants, fellowships, internal scholarships, and some other scholarships that comes together, and the university award that to you automatically when you they offer you admission. So this because of this it's very competitive to get admission in the first place. There are some schools that as soon as you apply tomorrow, you get admission. Why? Because they don't care about how you finance your studies. It's up to you. And you get the admission, you go and apply for study permit and all that, and they may be rejected because of uh, not evidently showing that you can finance your studies. So that is one. That is one. So our scholarship packages comes in the form of teaching assistants. These ones you don't need to make separate applications. When I post online, I stated some of these criteria that they look at before they give you scholarship. Okay, you don't need to make a separate application for that. It comes automatic once you have admission. And so also when you are selecting program, make sure you make the right choice. Make sure you choose those that involve scholarship. You may say, okay, let me apply for those without scholarship, and later on I apply for scholarship. But once they make decision that you have offered you the admission without scholarship, no matter what you do, you are less than 1% chance to get a scholarship. Okay, so make sure you set your distance from the beginning. Let them know what you are in for. That's one. United States scholarship are quite different in the sense that once you apply, you get admission, and then you apply for teaching assistant, teaching assistantship or research assistantship. One thing is that in the USA, teaching assistantship or research assistantship is a form of employment, and if you work as a student, if you work for the state that you have been offered admission to, it's their policy that state workers don't pay fees. So automatically, once they offer you a teaching assistant and the school, you are a state employee, and therefore you have a tuition fee or school fees waived. You don't pay school fees. The next thing is they give you stipend, which comes from the wage of your teaching assistantship, and they offer that to you. So most schools in the United States, once you apply, you need to apply for teaching assistantship. That's a job separately, and before so this is the two balance. You apply for school, they offer you admission, then you say go and apply for a job, then you make a separate application for the job. Canada is not like that. Once they offer you admission, which is a research-based program, automatically they give you scholarship. So these are the two things that distinguish between scholarship in Canada and scholarship in USA. Two, if you decide to study in Canada, there is an opportunity that there is a direct pathway to get your papers. Let me put it in our local way. To get your papers, okay, you finish school, you give you 2 or 3 years postgraduate work permit. You work, you get experience, and with that experience, you use it to apply for. You have Canadian working experience to apply for to become a permanent resident. That's one advantage you get. In the United States, it's not direct. Okay, you have to go through some corners in order to become a green card holder, which is the same as permanent resident. So these are the two balances. So when you are deciding which country to study, look at the future ahead. These are some things you want to keep note of before you make the choice. And two, applications in Canada, most graduate schools will ask you to pay for application fee. Application fee is money, right? It's money that you're paying. You don't want to waste your money and apply to school, and then your money is waste. If you are from Africa, changing to dollars is much more. You need much more money to get a dollar. So before you pay the application fee, there are certain things you need to do. You have to be sure that this school that you're applying to is going to work for you. Okay, at least once or two school that you select is going to work for you before you pay the fees. Don't just make any random application, just applying and see my luck. That means that is when you have the money. If you have a lot of money, that is fine. You can just throw away your money and look for chances. So before you make payment for application fee, be sure of what programs you are choosing. Another thing too is that in most schools in USA graduate programs, they don't take pick admit so many students. Most of the students, you can be 5 in the master's program, 6 in the master's program, and most of the highly funded like schools with big names, they may have 10, 15 in a year. So before you submit your application, make sure that you have researched, be in contact with a professor in the school, and then you have higher chance of being one of the few who will be offered admission before you start. Okay, before you pay the application fee. That is why most of the programs, schools will ask you to contact a professor before you submit your application. When you contact a professor, you have higher chance. You have communicated with the professor, and they've already know that you are going to, somebody like this is coming to join our team. Most of the professors will ask you to send them your credentials, which include your transcript, your um, certificate that you have graduated from the program, for them to give you a preview a pre-review before they ask you to submit the application. This helps you because it helps you to know your chances before you go and pay the application fee to the school. The school, when they take your application fee, it's not your money that is going to make the school better, but then it also shows that you are committed. That is why most of the schools charges application fee. If not, you always make a random. They will select you and you don't come. You understand? So they want to make sure that you are applying, you are committed before they go ahead to do that. So before you submit your application, make sure you have done your research and know where you are going before you start. You click on hit application, then you do that. Make sure you have done research. You have followed some of the program instructions. I cannot tell everything because every program has their own. Um, uh, they have their own eligibility criteria that you need to meet. So it's not the same. The school has a minimum one, but each program also has other additions that they add to that. So before you start paying application fee, make sure you have done your research and you know that your money that you are paying is going to be beneficial to you. Let me give you an example. When I finished my school and a friend was encouraging me to apply, the time that I agreed to apply, I just made a random application. I wrote to some professors, they didn't respond, and then I paid the money. 4 or 5 applications. At that time, my national service fee and 1 month national service is equals to one application fee. And I use that to pay. So if I make 4 applications, remember that is like 4 months of my national service money. And I use it to pay application. And at the end, I did not get admission for any of them. I started late, one December, and then that's the time I came to my senses that I need to apply to schools, and it was too late at that time. Most people has already been in contact with some professors, and they already know where they are going. And now I'm coming to start. So at the end, I didn't get admission, and I didn't blame anybody. I blame myself because one, I did not start early, and two, I did not actually contact any professor who also responded to me. I did the contact, but it was too late. Okay, so these are some of the reasons why I did not get admission. And the third thing is also that because you were in a rush to meet the deadline, you did not get time to review the eligibility criteria and the way the school make their selection before you start. So most of your money has gone somewhere. You are just throwing your luck for best chances. Okay, and it doesn't always favor you. And most of the time, those who apply early, they be in contact with professors and they already have their chances. So the following year, when I came to my senses, I started very early, before even the year application period start. I have already started. Mind you, they always I'll talk about the grades and classes and how they also check all those things. So that is how I ended up applying, and my first failure and the second one being successful. So if you are planning to start an application, start as early as possible. It could be if you have zero knowledge about all this application. There are some people who get first time. That's fine. Either they started early or not, they got first chance. And one thing, as I mentioned, some of the programs they only take few students, and that's you might be lucky to apply to a program that few people are applying to, or not much people are applying. In some programs in the USA here, you will see that at the beginning of the year, they start the school are advertising. They do what's called open house to advertise their programs. So when they are doing that, they are also giving people chance to know about what they offer and their packages. So it's very competitive here. One. So look at those who are here is competitive, and you come in from somewhere, it's also much more competitive. So if you are applying, make sure you do much more research. Get to know the school you're applying to and the program first. The program, you get to know, be in contact with some of the professors or administrative. One thing that Many people are saying you say contact somebody, you contact the graduate director. The graduate director can only give you a general information that you give to anybody. So find one professor that works in the area that you are want to study and be in contact with that professor one-on-one. Is the professors who is going to admit you. I'll talk about that. How the selection committee they do it. Okay, how what goes on at the background before they give admission to somebody. Okay, so that is one. So be careful of that one. If you're applying, start as early as possible so that you will be one of the few who will be selected for the program. And then another thing is that when you decide that you are applying, check the program's requirements. One of the things they look for is your transcript. Your transcript is one of the most important documents for a successful application. So does it mean that it should be for first class? That is not true. You don't need a first class before you can get a scholarship to study abroad. As Canada or USA, you don't need a first class. Yes, first class gives you an upper hand. Your academic background gives you an upper hand. But one is talk about research area, research interest, research potential, research, and yeah, you can get A plus in many of your courses, but when they give you research to do independent work, you cannot do it. So that's one thing. So that is why the transcript tells about how much work, how much you can pick information and produce it back. That is one of the grades in your. That's why your transcripts is there. They teach you something within 1 week, 1 year, 1 month, 3 months, and then you're able to produce and pass the exams quickly. You are a fast thinker. That's one thing. But to be a researcher is a different thing altogether. So make sure that that doesn't mean that if you are in school, you should play around. No, study well. Give that one a chance. There are some programs they will tell you if you don't meet this requirement, don't come. You see, so on the transcript, if you have a first class, that's a good advantage. You have the overall. If you have an upper class, what the school people they look at is that your last 2 years, your program is 4 years. The last 2 years, your performance is what they are looking at, not the full from first year to, the class you get will depend on your performance overall from your first term to their last term. But the admission, they look at your last 2 years of your study. That's the thing they look at. So you have to make sure that your last two, you had an upper class, but your last 2 years, you did well. If you did well in that last 2 years, boom, you can get admission. And two, sometimes you didn't do well or you did well, but they look at which area of research you want to, which courses are related to that area. What was your performance? No professor knows everything. No graduate student, the best ones knows everything. You only know your field. So the field that you are going to, how was your preparation? How was your performance in that area? So you are going to do mathematics and algebra. You said you want to do topology. I mean, this is a high. If you're not a mathematician, you may not understand. But you want to do a research in a particular field. There was a course there. How did you perform? You did A, B, C, and then you want to excel there. That is not possible. Okay, so even before you start, make sure that I want to do my research in this area. The course related to that area, this is how I performed in that area. It's very important. It will help you to be able to be successful in your application. Okay, so the things that they need on your transcript is your last 2 years of academic studies, how you performed, your fourth semester, fifth semester, sixth semester, and the eighth semester. Your performance there is what they use to calculate your GPA. And one thing is that some people from different schools have different grades. Okay, so sometimes the school will say the minimum is B. So some campus, some universities in Canada, their minimum B is 70%. Okay, you should have 70% in that course. If you come from programs like schools in Ghana, like KN University, Kwame Nkrumah University of Technology, to get a 70 is first class. In Canada, some schools get a 70 is B, is easy to get. So if you get a 70 in Ghana, it's like somebody who has got a 90% in Canada. Okay, you're almost the same. But they set the limit that they want somebody who has 70%, and to get a B in KNUST, you should get a 60% to get a B. So that means that you don't meet that requirement, right? But they know how to assess by school. On your transcript, they shows the legend. On the legend at the bottom of it, they tell you which grades you get a B. So that tells you the school, when they are evaluating your transcript, to know how to grade you accordingly or calculate your GPA accordingly. So don't be pushed away because the minimum point is B 70% and you are not there. So it means that you will not get admission. I did not graduate to first class, so I should say it here. I had an upper class, but I also had one of the best scholarship in Canada and one of the best in the United States. And I still have, even though I'm in Canada, I'm in USA for my PhD. I'm sponsored by the government of Canada as part of also on the scholarship. So it's not about your class, it's about your potential, what you are doing. Okay, what you are doing, that's the one that will tell you. So at the end, the area that you want to study, you should be able to be an expert there. You should be able to be excel in that area, and that will help you too. So from today, if you are deciding to go abroad, check your transcript. You want to do gender studies, that gender program that you are going to do, you did not perform well on that gender course. So how are you going to excel in that? Okay, so you should have all these things down to assist you in your studies. So before you make application, make sure that you have done some field research, be in contact with some professors and exchange information. So I was talking about mine. The professor, I wrote to other professors in my department when I failed first. The first time when I did not get admission. The second time, I started early. Okay, all the professors in my department, I wrote to all of them. Nobody answered. There was only one that I did not write to. So because I did not like the area of research, does not interest me at that time. So last minute, I said, okay, let me write to him. And I wrote to him, and the professor responded. And that professor was the one who helped me through my studies the whole time. He gave me the scholarship beyond everyone else's scholarship, so that I don't need even bank statement for my application. Carried me. So I started when I got rejected in somewhere March. Then I started communicating with the professor in April. And from April, he told me that the application will be opened in October. So I have to wait. So sometimes when I'm there, I'll send the professor a message just to know that he knows that I'm there. And then he will respond. And then in October, I was the first person. I have already prepared everything. First October, when application was open, I was the first to submit my application, I believe, because I did it on the same day. And all my people who are supposed to give me recommendations and other things, they also offered to me on the rats as soon as I was done. So everything was gone. Okay. But even though I have submitted my application early, I have to wait till February so that they make a decision for all of us. Okay, that's one thing. Start early and be able to build a network before you apply so that your money will not be wasted. You see, the year that I got admission, that was the only school I applied. Okay, that's the only one. If I have been rejected, I would have been in trouble. Okay, so before you get to that point, make sure that you have done some research about your program. I'll talk about documents that are required for your program. Okay, for most of the programs. The document that you need is one, your transcript. I have talked about your transcript and how they assess your transcript. Two, reference letters. I can tell you that in most countries, in most schools in Ghana, they don't know how to write reference letters to professors. They don't know how to write um, reference letter, like a good reference letter to put you in getting admission. They will start by just writing about you take this course, you took that course. But the school actually needs something beyond that. They need to know about your research potential, how you absorb knowledge, how you communicate knowledge, how you share, you are able to understand a course and interpret it. That is why most of the students who finish school and they stay on their campus as a teaching assistant are able to get scholarship easier than those who go to the industry and they want to come back to school. Okay, because once you're a TA, you learn to communicate, you learn to share knowledge that you have with others, you learn to teach as well. And then teaching means understanding your what you are doing. So if you also have the chance to stay and your plan is to study abroad, one of the things you consider uh, for your national service is to stay in the school and be a teaching assistant if that is good for you, because if that's your plan, you have started it early. Okay, have the chance to be a teaching assistant. Don't hes- don't reject it. Okay, you have higher chance of getting admission and uh scholarship if you were a teaching assistant. Because teaching assistant, you may be doing some scholarship, some research whilst you're a student. So take note of that and work accordingly. Okay, so the recommendation letter, ask your professor that this is what you need them to put in your recommendation letter for you. Okay, tell them the information. You may be lucky when you have a professor who will ask you to write the reference letter and bring it to him. If you get that luck, write it. You are writing about yourself. Don't be afraid. I remember when my professor asked me to draft the reference letter and give it to them. And I don't know, I say, I wish I want to say that I'm excellent in this one, then I feel like I'm boasting, I'm giving myself too much. But actually, if I look at my transcript, I'm not that excellent. There's this guy in my class who's better than me. So it's it doesn't make sense to say that I'm excellent. Do you understand? But be confident, believe in yourself, and write it the way they will expect to see. Let me tell you, the same thing that they asked the professors here, when you ask them for reference letter, they will ask you to write it and bring it to them so that they will polish it and send it to the school for you. They do the same. It's not African professors that do that. They hear the professors say they do the same thing. They will ask you to write a reference letter and bring it to them. In that, you don't know what they will submit. They may not submit exactly what you give to them, but that gives them to know about things about you. They don't have it, everything. Now they don't have time to keep records of how you are doing some things or how the extracurricular activities you are doing in your school or some other things you are doing. So when they give you the chance to write the reference letter, they ask you to write about yourself so that they will use that to polish to write a recommendation letter for you. So if you ask a professor back home to write a reference letter for you, you may add your, if it not ask you to write it yourself, ask your CV, add your CV, and your CV put on the best thing about yourself. That will give you a higher chance of doing it, of getting admission. Also, give them some information, tell them certain things you want them to mention. So the professor was okay, I'll write a reference letter for you. Tell them that whilst I was a student, I was an executive in this position. I was also, these are some extracurricular activities I did. Even though I did not do this thing with you, I did this research with this professor, or I did this some survey for this company, I did this or that. Tell the professor so that they will put it there. Sometimes the person, even they don't put it on your resume, on their recommendation letter, they will do what? There is some portion of a reference letter that they ask you to grade or assess the student about their research preparation, about their um about them, rate them. So they can, because they have read about some of the things you have done, they can use that one to rate you, make you do well. So when you are asking for reference letter, make sure you ask from people who are willing, are open to collect information like this to do better for you. The school put it there, not just there. Okay, they put it there for the best of you, for your best. Okay, so make sure you let the person know what you want them to write about you. A good reference letter can override your transcript. A very good reference letter can override your transcript. Let me tell you, when I was learning how to write a reference letter, I read about Einstein. Einstein is one of the best scientists ever. And when he was applying for school for a higher degree, was it Einstein or someone else? The person writing a reference letter only said, admit this guy, he's genius. That's all. Okay, that's all the reference letter is all about. He is a genius. And that letter, that states, that few words, genius there, or want the person admission. Okay, so good reference letter is very important, and sometimes also come from the source, the person writing it. If the person is someone who is well recognized, it means that your reference letter also carries weight. So make sure that you contact people to give you a perfect reference letter, a good one. And then another thing which most schools may not ask is CV. Okay, I'll talk about statement of purpose last. Is your CV. Your CV, some schools may not ask you to do that, but others will ask you to prepare a CV. Okay, to prepare a CV. And on your CV, give more information. Let me tell you one thing. Some scholarships are that you only get them through the school. There are some scholarship called interior scholarship. When I posted on LinkedIn, I shared on Facebook, I shared about internal scholarships. So internal scholarships are extra scholarship that is awarded to the school scholarship. Those ones look at other things, including academic excellence, how you perform well. So some of the scholarship will tell you if you perform, this scholarship goes to students who have good academic background, excellent academic background. Some will also say about leadership or extracurricular activities. That's the point I want to make. So when you are writing your CV in Canada, if you pay a large bill for somebody, your father, it's not your responsibility to do that. It's not your responsibility to pay for your sister's fees, okay, or go collect your mother's money and go to the um, electricity center and then pay their fees. It's not your job. Do you understand? So when you do that, it's a voluntary thing that you have decided to do. You can add that to your CV. That I help people or I assist people in paying their um their bills and all that. So that is one thing I also talk about. I'll have a much more dedicated section to talk about preparing your CV and things that are most important to put in your CV. So that is one. The last part is the statement of purpose. Statement of purpose is one very vital part of your application. Why is it so? Statement of purpose is a chance that the school is giving you to express yourself in your own words. Tell us, it's like when we were in high school or primary school, they teach us how to write myself. Write myself letters are the same thing. Myself essays is the same thing as SOP. Okay, it's now in our advanced level, you call it statement of purpose. Write about yourself. Why should we choose you for the program? How is your preparation? Tell them, convince them. let me tell you, most programs they don't give you the chance to for interviews, especially in Canadian university. They don't call you for interview. Your interview is your statement of purpose. So make sure that you write it as well. It's much more important. Put the things they need to know in that letter. When I write my own statement of purpose for my any award application, I have several of them. I want several of them, and when I'm writing them, I don't even ask somebody to read it. I'm writing it. I'm going to win. I'm going to win that scholarship. Okay, that award, I'm going to get it. So they give you the chance to write about yourself. Don't joke with it. Okay, take your time to give much more information about that letter, that essay, and write it well. It's going to position you to get it. Okay, so write it very well and make sure that you put in the required information that will help them to make a decision to your favor. I'll have a full section about that, about the statement of purpose writing and how to make your stand out. When you are selecting schools, many times you go on LinkedIn, people share schools and share programs. One mistake we do is that we apply to programs that everybody is applying to. Okay, you apply to a program that everybody is applying to. When you do that, there's much more competition in there. Okay, much more competition. Like I said earlier, in graduate school, they admit few students, 5 in a program, 6 in a program, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a program per year. So you may be one of the few who somebody shared a school online and everybody will apply to that program. Okay, 100 people will apply. They need 5. They need 5. They can only sponsor 6. They can only sponsor 10. So what will be happening to the rest? That's one of the reasons why people don't get admission. Okay, take your time, do your own research, and stand yourself out. When I was coming to Canada and applied to Brock University, I think I'm the only person from my school who applied to that program. When I came, I know. Do you understand? You distinguish yourself, be unique in your applications, and that will help you to stand out. If you don't know what goes on inside, you make mistake, and you will be in a pool of people. And if you are not likely to be one of the top, then this is where you fail. So make sure you stand out, be unique. Look for your own schools. Okay, look for your own schools. I tried to post all the schools in Canada, but I finished with Ontario, and I have been busy. I have not continued, but I will continue. Okay, make sure you apply to all the schools that will give you the best offer. Don't apply to only one school. If you are ready to apply, have a selection of them. Choose the best one. When you see the school, write it down. Go to their program website. Select their program, their information about it. Read about it, what they are looking for. One thing I came to Canada and I learned is that when I'm teaching the student, one student I was teaching, when he's doing assignments, the question is one side. I put the question here, the note is here, and then look at which word is there. He write it, what they look for. He write it, answer, make sure he answered it. And I did the same thing when I was applying for Canada scholarship. I make sure I learned that from the student. I pick my research, what they are looking for, how they are assessing it. I put it down, printed the copy, and I drop it down. Then I take my computer, sit on one side, and I make sure that everything that they ask there, I meet that one. I have it in my statement, in my application. So I'll put it down there and make sure word for what they ask for research potential. And I want to make sure that I've answered that one in my statement. I didn't give my statement to anybody to read it. I did it myself, and I'm going to win. Okay, because what they need is what I'm answering and giving them. Okay, and make sure that what they ask here. So one of those scholarships, they ask you They give instruction what they are looking for. I put it down. They want this. Is it answered in my paper? In my distance? Is it there? Yes. This one is not there. No, it's not there. Then I have to look at how to answer that one, respond to that in my paper. When I got the scholars from Canada, they wrote to me that your application was one of the highest scored applications. You understand? They wrote to me because I took my time to write it. I'm not applying and fail. I'm applying to win. Do you understand? I've made up my mind that I'm going to spend time on this to win it, and I'm going to win. Okay, I got a medal here, and then my medal I also have to write a statement. In my statement, took time, make sure I answered everything that they want to hear. Give it to them, and that's where you are going to. They also give it to you. Okay, take your time. Don't rush in anything. Some people will write to me and they say, "Oh, can you help me write my polishment?" Though I can polish it, I can help that. I don't know what you have achieved. Okay, but make sure that you take your time to visit the school website, the department or the program website. Check what they want to hear, what they want, and give that one to them. That's your winning strategy. Okay, if you don't meet that one, they will not answer. Sometimes you check your transcript and you see that you didn't do well at a certain area. The part that you didn't do well, give them the reason why you did not do well. Sometimes it could be mental stress. It could be maybe don't go and blame anybody. Blame yourself, but then respond wisely. Tell them that this thing happened, and because of that, at the time, even the day of the exams, you were sick. You were sick, you could not reason, you were stressed, so you could not respond, you could not perform well. That is why you didn't excel in that course. So give them a reason why you did not do well. Explain yourselves. And that is your winning strategy. There's nothing much more strategy to win than being able to write your essay very well. Okay, so that will be another topic where we talk about writing uh, um, SOPs. So I was talking about selecting schools. Make sure you be unique. Select your own schools. Don't go to where your friends are going. You are going to compete with them in getting admission. I'm not saying that when you both get admission, you are going to compete. You are going to work together. But to get admitted is a competition. Okay, they are going to select few, and you should be one of the few that will be selected. And how do you be the one selected? You have to stand out, be unique, create a unique application. Today we have AI to assist you. I'm not saying that go and ask AI to write your statement of purpose of you for you. AI doesn't know you, but then you instruct them, you do it, you write it yourself, or ask, okay, give them the information, help them to write for you. I'll find a way there to talk about how to use AI in your work properly. Okay, so take time to make sure you meet the admission requirement. Talk to the professors, the faculty members, write to them, let them give you information that will help you stand out. And then request for good reference letters. And your SOP, make sure that you write it and write it, convince the admission committee that you are the best and you should be the one they should hire, they should take as a student. Okay, so thank you. If you did make the chance to join today, my 1 hour is due, and I'm going to continue another time where we will talk about, we break them down. Okay, so your takeaway, if you are following me, I want you to do this. I want to do your journey to Canada or USA with you. Go and find out about the schools you are interested in. It's not actually the school, the program you are interested in that school. Write a couple of them down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20. Write them down. Now, you've heard about University of Toronto, you have heard about Brock University, you've heard about McMaster University, you have heard about University of Alberta, you have heard about University of Victoria, you have heard about University of British Columbia, you have heard about Western University, write them down. Go to their website, write them down. Take a paper, write them down. Check their admission criteria. Once you are checking that, then you are eliminating some of them. You are narrowing them down. Okay. Some of them they need this. I don't have that. I will not be able to get it. You check that one out. Then you narrow them down until you go all the way down to a few. Write to the professors about them that this is the program, this is why they should select you, and this is your preparation, how you are going to excel, your reason to do that. By the time some of them will respond, some will not. Those who will respond will help you to still narrow your list down. Okay, and sometimes the type of response they will give to you will also help you to know what you need to do next. Okay, take this one as your takeaway and go and get yourself ready. You'll meet again next week as we go through your journey in Canada with you, your graduate studies credit and your scholarship winning. Okay, these are my what I have to share with you for today, and we'll meet again on another day. Bye bye. So, any questions when you are coming? Make sure that you come with prepared questions. That if you have them, if you do not get the time to watch the video today, you can leave questions on the comments. The comment section, I will use it for another day when we are meeting. I will answer those questions. Also, I have my email, or you can chat me on LinkedIn, Evans Boadi on LinkedIn, and then from there I can respond to specific questions. Most of the questions, if they come to be a question that everybody's asking, I will bring it to the live session another day. So ask your questions down, write it down, chat me if you need to, and I try as much as possible to respond to as many people as possible. And then if there is anything, please put it in the comment section. Also share this link to other people that this will be beneficial, and I will see you another week. Don't forget to refer your friends and your loved ones to also subscribe to my network, and let us succeed together. If I put all the knowledge in my head, it's not going to not be the only one winning all the time. I need to share and let other people also win. Shabo, shabo. Bye bye.